we had this big protest movement after the wake of the George Floyd tragedy. And primarily it was about, ending police brutality, especially against black and brown people in this country. But it's police brutality in general. I mean, we saw after when the protests started, there was some rioting, but there was also a lot of peaceful protests going on. And the police response in a lot of places were very heavy-handed. I wasn't in all those locations at all those times, so I don't know the context for every video I saw. But there was a lot of videos where, there's one that comes to mind where, there's a few girls standing on their front porch of their house, and they see a line of police coming through their street. And, it's perfectly legal to be on your porch. Like, even if there is a curfew, you're on your porch, you're at your house.
Right.
And these police officers start shooting at them. Not real live ammo, but they're still it's still stuff that hurts. And,
It is assaulting their person.
Yeah, which is, so police brutality is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
And so we have this giant protest movement still going on. And, the Dems, for whatever reason, doing backdoor deals and stuff like that, bring out the man who is responsible for, I believe, is the 93 crime bill, arguably a big architect of that bill, and arguably one of the pieces of legislation responsible for a lot of the woes that we are protesting against right now. So we have him, and then he picks California's top cop, who you can look it up. There are several instances, and I think Tulsi Gabbard did a great job of pointing some of them out on the debate stage, of Kamala using her office as a bullying tactic against everyday citizens, and a lot of them having been poor citizens, people who had no choices. So to me, looking at this, I'm just like, wow, read the room, guys. Read the room. But clearly they feel, and we can get into this a little bit more, but clearly they feel that, they can pretty much run anyone they want, and they feel like they're guaranteed to win. I don't know if that's true, but looking at the Democratic National Convention, that's kind of what their platform was. It's like, we're not Trump. They didn't really bring up any policy issues or policies that they want to enact, or they didn't have a platform except that, hey, I'm not Trump. And, I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Which to me is disappointing, because I know one of the things that immediately was brought up in the RNC, I don't know how much of that you watched.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
But one of the things that they were pretty quick to bring up during the RNC is that, he doesn't have a plan. And then, of course, the articles come out like, well, he does have a plan. Check out his website. And I'm like, but you had like a week of content, like 2 hours a day, to convey that idea, like these policy plans of yours, these ideas that you want to push forward, like what you're about as opposed to what you're not about. And the majority of the runtime was more talking about what they're not about, which is Trump.
Yeah.
So
no, exactly. And at least that's how it came off, you know? And yeah, the RNC, I guess, brought up some more things. I mean, that's its own can of worms.
Yes.
At least it had better production value, but other than that, it wasn't less.
I can say that.
It wasn't much less of a shit show.